Hi, and welcome to the Bookish Stitcher podcast. My name is Jeanette. You can find me on Ravelry, Instagram, or Goodreads as Bookish Stitcher. I hope you've all had a great week since I last podcasted. Actually, wanted to say this first thing because I've been forgetting every single time I podcasted for the last couple weeks. I almost threatened myself to write it across my head in Sharpie so that even if I did forget, you all would see it. Sorry. But I need to say thank you to, so many people have been mentioning the podcast, and I just wanted to say thank you. If you shared it with one friend, or if you shared it on, I think Google+, you can share the YouTube, or shared it on iTunes, or any of those, if you shared it with one friend, or 5 friends, or if you announced it on your podcast and said it to everybody that watches you, I just wanted to say thank you because it means a lot to me that you like the podcast enough to share it. That's what I guess means the most to me, because it's really good to know that you guys enjoy what I have to chat about. So that said, and I didn't have to write it across my head with Sharpie. I have my hair and not in a usual way that you guys see at this time. This is kind of my casual thing that I wear when we're outside, and we're going to be going on a family walk after I podcast and doing sidewalk chalk and having some fun things. So just in preparation for that, what was I up to this past week? I had book club last night. I was going to share about that for a little bit. One of my book clubs that I'm in, we got together last night, and I actually was a bad book club member and had not read the book for this at all. I'm getting so to where most book clubs, you get to choose. Everybody comes together and picks a book. And I'm getting so to where if it's not a book that I really, really am interested in reading, I won't really read it because there's so little time. And there are so many wonderful books. So this one, I even had the book, but I didn't really crack it open, and I might go back and read it because I've heard from everybody that was at book club that read it, only about half of us read it, but that it was a really quick and fast read, and some people read it in a day. So I might go back and read it, and it was a book that a lot of people I know have read, but I'm really excited for the book that we picked for next month, and I will definitely be reviewing that on the podcast, so I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I'm excited. It sounds really amazing, and it's been on my I want to read list for a little while. So last night's book club was really good, and all our book clubs are themed, and this one, since the book was called Higher Grounds Cafe or something like that, there was a barista theme, and my friend, her husband, served us all amazing coffee, and there was little things that you would find at coffee shops, and I of course knit, and they were making a joke because none of them, I think one of them crochets, but none of the other of them really knit like I do constantly all the time. They were joking that I was going to have finished a sock before we left because we were there for quite a while. So one of the things that I love about that book club is we actually discussed the book. And this book, even though I hadn't read it, the questions that were for the book were ones that anybody could answer, even if they hadn't have read the book. So it was a very good discussion, and wonderful to get out and see my friends. If you're a stay-at-home mom, or if you, like I do, work from home, it's nice to get out and be able to see other people. So I have a couple finished objects to show you guys this week. First one is my husband's socks. These were almost done last week, so really, I think I did that little bit. But there are 2 of them, and he's really excited about these. This yarn is some Knitter's Nightmare in the Demonic Barber colorway, and they're a bit shiny. I don't know if you could tell that on the camera, but that's that one. First finished object. Now the second one was a mad rush to get it done in time to podcast. The knitting I've had done for a little bit, but it took a little bit longer to have the border attached than I even thought it would. And I have to thank my husband, who is an engineer and wonderfully meticulous, for helping me with this, because it would not look nearly as good if he hadn't helped, because he's just so meticulous, which is good. If you're going to be an engineer, you should be meticulous. But this started out as my French can-can shawl and is now similar and completely different shawl. But the French cancan is a gorgeous pattern which I now own and is by, you can hear the people riding their four-wheelers around outside. The French cancan is by Mademoiselle C, and I do intend to make that pattern sometime, but this is my finished shawl. So what I did was I did the body and garter like the French cancan, and then this I just kept knitting. I didn't do an applied border. So I kept knitting this in just a simple lace, and then I knit the cable separately, and I counted before, just because this was so serendipitous as to what the book is this week, and you'll see in a bit, there are 77 cables on this shawl. So, you see it crossed. Keep going, and keep going, and there. And as you can see on the bottom, maybe, you see, yeah, it's a shell lace pattern that I followed from a lace pattern edging book. So this is basically, I don't want to call it my own design because I'm not a designer and I will never be, but I made up my own shawl. What the pattern had didn't work with what I wanted to do, so I just made up my own. So this cable was knit separately, so I had to, you know, figure out a way. So it was all sewn in. The white and the black were done together, but the cable was sewn onto this black part, and then this black part, you can kind of see it up against my shirt. This black part was sewn onto the red part, so I think it's really pretty. I'm excited about it, and it's so squishy. The white is done with Knit Picks Capra, and then the black and the red are Knit Picks Gloss, the DK. I just think it's really, really pretty. And I'm so glad to have it done, because it was, whenever you decide to deviate from the pattern that extremely, and it ends up, for me, it ended up as more work than I thought it would originally, so I was glad to have it done. Oh, my coffee that I'm drinking. You see, my best friend, we've been friends for 10 years or more, maybe. Oh my gosh, almost 15. We were best friends since, you know, before high school or in high school, so maybe it's 12. But she gave me this for Christmas one year, so I just think it's really cute. And I'm actually having a really cool drink. We have in Texas these things called HEBs, which are the grocery store of choice for me. I also love Trader Joe's, of course, as I've talked about, but they do different coffees. This is the Houston blend. They have a San Antonio blend as well, but I like the Houston one better. It has, this rich coffee is marvelously blended with a combination of praline, pecan, and coconut. Smooth and delightfully sweet. So that's what I'm having. But it's really good coffee. Now for my works in progress. Since I finished off those two, and I'm doing the Susanna I See, my local friend, her mystery KAL for the spring, but this was a rest week for the size of shawl that I'm knitting. There are 4 different sizes, and if you're knitting one of the smaller sizes, you had a rest week. So there was nothing to do on that shawl, so I just cast on some other stuff. So let me show you my oldest whip first, my awesome granny bag. This is my Mondo Cable Cardi by Chic Knits, and I am knitting it out of some mustache yarns in their Targhee, and the ball is, again, I started a new one as big as my head, so I'm over 50% done with the sweater, because if you have this, there's only 2 for my size sweater, so, but I finished the body. See if I can show this to you guys. Finished the body of the sweater, and I am going to block this rather extremely on the cable part at least, so that the cables show up, because I really like how the cables look. And then I started the one sleeve. But I'm going to show you guys the back of it up close so that you can see how beautiful this yarn is. It's in the, I believe it's oyster colorway. And you see that? It's gray, but with subtle hints of purple and pink and darker gray. I just think it's so pretty, and I try not to dip it in my coffee. But that is my oldest work in progress that I worked on this week. I have 3 new things, so I'm going to go in order of, I don't know, just in a random order. This is in my little skein in the big wool bag that's actually my son's. I borrowed it. But the retreat that I'm going to this summer, Super Summer Knit Together, it has a charity thing where they collect hats for homeless or preemies or chemo caps. And so I love to knit up for that, and it's just really fun to do different hats. So I am doing a hat. I think this is, it looks a little small, but it's bunched up on tiny needles, but it stretches. This is going to be either a chemo cap or a cap for the homeless, but what I did was I have this main color of Knit Picks Bra that's an acrylic. They want the yarns to be able to be easily taken care of because a lot of people don't have options to hand wash stuff if you're homeless. Well, you don't, but so easily wearable or care for. And then I wanted to do some kind of just makeup on my own color work, so I just got this little scrap of yarn that I had in my stash, and I thought they went nicely together. And I just started adding in random color, and you can't see it too much, and it's, so what it looks like, there's going to be kind of a line up the top there and then little patterns, but it's going to be cute and it's fun. And it's very quick. I just started this, so, and I've worked on it for just a little bit. And I hope to knit up a whole bunch of hats for the thing there, and you also get raffle tickets if you knit up things. So I think I've already done 2 or 3, so more and more and more until the time. Probably try to knit a couple a month until the retreat. The next thing I'm working on makes me so happy. The next 2 things make me so happy. So for my birthday, Night Knitter gifted me the pattern Miss Winkle, I think, and it's by Martina Bem, and it had been on my wish list for a while, and I just love knitting with patterns people have gifted for me because I think about that person when I'm knitting it, and it just brings me joy to think about it. And I love gifting patterns so much too, just because of how I feel when I'm knitting with a gifted pattern. It's really fun. I love randomly gifting patterns because I just feel like it's such a joy to knit with a pattern that was gifted. I just love it. So thank you, Nightly Knitter. And this is my Miss Winkle so far. Let me show you the yarn because it's gorgeous. It's Marigold Jen in the Lavender Fields color. I wish I had the tag. It's probably upstairs somewhere. My brain forgot to remind me to bring it down. It's so pretty. This skein makes me very happy. It's shiny. It's got all these gorgeous colors. Purple, I mean, it's almost every color. There's a gold, there's a purple, there's a red, there's a blue, there's an olive green, there's silver, but it predominantly looks purple. This is what I have so far. I love it. Isn't it pretty? I like it. I don't know. Just the sheen on that, it's so nice. And I am enjoying it so much, just thinking about, you know, that it was gifted by a friend who is an amazing spinner. You should follow her on Instagram if you like spinning. Her spinning is, it's gorgeous. And she takes such, there's so many people that take so many amazing pictures on Instagram. It's so inspiring. So I've been working on that, doing a couple points. I just started it Friday night, I think. And so this next thing that I have in my Sew For You bag is the thing I was talking about last week when I said there's this skein that I kept walking by and seeing it in my stash, and it kept making me smile. And so many of you were like, cast it on! So I did. And I think that it makes me smile because it's really pretty, but I think there also may be a not so subliminal message because the yarn is named Smile. You see it? Yeah. So I don't know, you know, it's very fun. And this is what it looks like in the cake, or the skein. because I didn't have to pick it up, because that's the wonderful thing about opal. And I love it. I love that purple. I love the orange, adds a bit of funness. I love, love, love the white with the little specks. It reminds me of like birthday cake and happiness and sprinkles. And then the blue is just really, really pretty. I was knitting on this a ton yesterday, and it was very funny because my outfit matched. I had on blue jeans, and then I had on a purple shirt with orange lettering. So it very much so matched, and this is how much I've got done. I wanted to start doing the heel, but then I thought, let's wait till after I podcast so that it won't be in the middle of a row. Isn't that so fun? I don't know, it's so happy. I think it's just, I don't know. It makes me smile. So thank you to everyone who said, especially Ironical Knitter, who was so funny in the Ravelry group. She was like, I'm on my soapbox. Cast on what brings you joy. So this will probably be done this week because if I'm going to be honest, I just want to knit on this, and that's what I've been doing. This and the Miss Winkle I've been knitting on a ton. I've kind of been taking it slow with the Miss Winkle because the yarn is so luxurious that I just want it to last for forever. Have another sip of my coffee. That's all my works in progress, those 4 that I worked on this week. Now, the mystery shawl, the next clue for me will be coming this week, so I will be working on that again. Now to spinning. I'm almost done. I showed you guys this a little while ago. I'm almost done with this. Try not to get fiber in my coffee. But isn't that gorgeous? The color underneath, I don't know if you guys remember, was a like blue, but this reminds me of the sea right before it's about to storm, when it gets that dark bluish green tint to it. And it's sparkly, which is wonderful, and that's how much I have left. And this is on my trindle, and what I'm spinning is a Knitting Color Bat, and it's, or batty. I sent some of these to my friend Cara, who's in Wales. So Cara, this is what these look like. I've been spinning with these. I really, really like that. I never would have guessed when I saw the bat that it would spin up like this color. I love this color. And I'm going to be plying this with a white so that it looks really nice. And I totally just got fiber in my coffee. But I'm going to be plying that with a white so that it, there it is. So I'm going to be applying that with a white so it kind of stands out against itself. Time for enabling. Okay, so the club that I was saying I hoped would come in the mail, but it hadn't, came in the mail this week. My 3-watt, and I love this. Isn't that so pretty? I just love it, love it, love it. 3 Waters Farm, and this is their top of the, what is it called? Top of the Month Club. And the last month's, if you'll remember, was a really darkish color, but this one is just so bright and happy. And I love it when a club, because if you're in a club, and of course people have different color scents, so I always get worried if it's going to be like same kind of color combos or same kind of stuff over and over again. But this is completely different. And I love it. I love it, love it, love it. And so I just want to spin all my fiber. And I actually have taken I'm taking a break from spinning for other people so I can show you guys some of my stuff, and I'm almost done. I showed a while ago a gorgeous teal and orange fiber that I was spinning. I'm almost done with the second half of that, so I'll be showing that hopefully next week or soon. And then a surprise club came in the mail this week. I completely forgot about this because, as I said, I think a month ago, I was in the Space Cadet Yarn Mini Club, and I stopped that club because I had enough. But what I had forgotten was When I first signed up, I was at a weird point in the club shipment cycle to where I didn't get my first months, but I paid for my first months because I think I signed up like 2 days before they shipped them out because I didn't look into all of that. So I got another shipment even after I had stopped payment. Does that make sense? But I'm really glad they remembered because I completely forgot. These are the Space Cadet minis from this month. And so this is my last one. I didn't pay for these ones this month because I paid for them back in December. I guess, or however that would work out. But yeah, this is really pretty. So those are 2 clubs. I do have some non-club enabling this week. We had, earlier in this week, our air conditioning went out. And you may be thinking, oh, well, it's spring, it doesn't matter. Well, for everybody probably in the northern part of the United States or somewhere where it's cooler, not, in the southern part, the extreme southern part, I'm about as southern as you can get in the United States, other than a couple other of the states. But so San Antonio is hot, and the air conditioning gave out, and it was in the 90s or close to, and the house gets a little bit hotter, and I was not being able to sleep at night. I haven't slept much this week at all, and it was kind of miserable. We did have a cooler front come in one day, and that was lovely. I just was outside walking and going around because I just needed that cooler air so much. And so the air conditioning got fixed, and it was a little bit of money. I actually had a friend going to Maryland Sheep and Wool. I wish I could. I'm going next year. But Maryland Sheep and Wool is this weekend. And I have a friend going, and she told all of us in our local knit night, if any of us wanted anything from there, that she would buy it. We could just PayPal her the money, and she would buy it for us, and we could get it. And I was really excited. I was looking at all the vendors and had this list planned out of what I was going to get. And then the air conditioning. So there went my Maryland Sheep and Wool money that I was going to give her. But I still wanted to get myself like consolation stuff since I couldn't give her all that money to go for Maryland. So I found something on Etsy that was really great priced, and I got a couple. I'm going to show them to you. I can't drink that. It has fiber in it. I was about to drink that. So this is the Woolly Witch, and these are called sweet rolls. And these are just $7 each. Isn't that a great price? This one is called the Book of the Dead. I'll take one out and show you. I think they come with 4. Nope, I'm not going to take one out because it's starting to draft on itself. But it's really pretty browns and teals and purples. Next one I got is called Shimmering Sands. I got 3 of these because they're $7 each. This is really pretty. I like that one. And then the last one I got is called The Water Horse of Loch Ness. And it's Outlander inspired. I don't watch Outlander even though I should. I'm not a big TV person, as you probably can guess with the name BookishStitcher. I watch mostly, I watch movies, but I mostly just read books. I think the only television show I watch and I'm not even caught up is Supernatural. I'm about a season or 2 behind. Okay, I just drank fiber. My brain cannot hold on to my brain's like, I need coffee, but can't hold on to don't drink it, there's fiber in it. I'm just going to move it farther away. Oh, podcast silliness. And she also sent this sample, which is really pretty. So if you're looking for fun fibers just to try, I thought those could all be plied together as a 3-ply or something like that, or mixed and matched. So that is all of my enabling. And as far as group news, we're still doing our favorite color KAL, so I'm not going to really talk about that because I've said it before and I don't want to say the same things over and over again. But you can go on the Ravelry group and see all about that and all the prizes. We have 3 prizes for that. And our Terry Pratchett thing is going along, and my hat that I'm knitting I'm actually doing for the Terry Pratchett along. And I think that I'm going to hopefully get in a couple hats because that knit along ends at the end of May. And the prize is in the thread for that, so you can go check it out. And Amy Loris of Knit Theory also has a prize in her group. If you want to enter for both, that would be awesome. And now for the book this week, and why you will see that the Shawl having 77 cables is extremely serendipitous. And you might, if you're a big reader of classics like me, have already guessed what this week's book is going to be with the title and everything. So this week's book is The House of the Seven Gables by Nathaniel Hawthorne. I was looking at Goodreads reviews on this book because I sometimes do that before I will review a book on the podcast, and I was actually really surprised. I think a lot of the people don't like classics, and also the book got put into weird genres like horror and romance, which is not really either of those. It does have some supernatural elements, but I wouldn't classify it as either of those. So some people love the book. A fair amount of people did not like the book and found it boring, but they just might not like classics. So if you like classics and you haven't read this, let me tell you about it. Nathaniel Hawthorne, I believe, is most famous, I would say, for his writing of the novel A Scarlet Letter, which I have read, and it was okay. It was not my favorite of his by any means. This is probably my favorite. So, House of the Seven Gables is a story about the Pynchon family and their history. So originally, when this town was settled, there was a man who owned a tract of land or settled on a tract of land named Mall. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. And he had this tract of land, and on this area there was a natural spring, and he turned it into a well, and it had the most sweet, wonderful water. And it kind of got known around town that his well was the best. And so Colonel Pynchon, he decided that he wanted this land for himself. And so he was a lot higher up in the society's kind of class system than Mall was, and he decided to accuse Mall of witchcraft. And because he was higher up, he got him brought through and he was hanged. And when Mall was hanged, he put a curse on the Pynchon family and said, that nothing good could ever come of this, and basically you're ruining your family. And something about may you all drink blood or something. There's some kind of curse that I'm not remembering exact wording to right now. But so then the Colonel Pynchon went and built a giant mansion, the House of the Seven Gables, on this property. And the people in the town kind of, you shouldn't have done, they kind of knew as soon as he did that his entire motive behind getting Matthew Mall hung was because he wanted the house to be there. And after the house was built, the water in the well became bitter and terrible tasting. And during a party at the house, the original Pynchon who claimed the house for his own dies, and then in a mysterious way, and nobody can figure it out, and the house is kind of cursed from there on, and all the relatives that live in it. And it's a story about the descendants. I believe it's basically 200 years down the line after the original one, and they've opened up a shop to kind of try to earn some money because they're running low on it. And it deals a lot with that in the shop, and Hepzibah is the kind of person that has a lot to do with the story, and Phoebe, who is a Pynchon who comes in from the country to help Hepzibah around the house and her shop. And Phoebe is an atypical Pynchon because she is cheery and bright and young and beautiful and happy, and Hepzibah is known in the book for her scowl, and she does knit. There's knitting in the book, so that's always a plus. And it's just a book about their lives and different than the story, and there are some kind of supernatural elements to it. But it's also, I think, a really good length for somebody who maybe wants to try out a classic, because it's under 300 pages, so it's not like a lot of books that I love, like Dostoevsky, who are very long. And I think it would be a great book to try out. And if you like classics and you haven't read this, and you like Nathaniel Hawthorne, I would recommend it. The House of the Seven Gables by Nathaniel Hawthorne. And Hawthorne does kind of in the beginning state that this book does have a moral and the whole idea of nothing good can come from ill-gotten gain. And Hawthorne's writing is really beautiful. I always especially love how he opens his books. It's very unique to me. And I enjoyed this. You can also, what I did with this one, some of it is I listened to it on LibriVox, and it's free on there if you want an audiobook that you can listen to. And that's all I have for you guys this week. I hope you have a wonderful week and that you get to do all the things you love. Okay, bye.